Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very special episode of A Break in the Clouds. Of course, you can join my co-host tonight, Penny Kelly at pennykelly.com. Penny, welcome back to the show.
Welcome. It's good to be here.
I'm glad to have you. And of course, you can find my friend and treasure hunter extraordinaire, Mr. JSNIP4, JSNIP4 2 here on YouTube, his second backup channel. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe there as well. Joe, welcome back to the show, man.
Yeah, hey, thanks.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, just getting closer and closer to the helicopter stuff and just trying to get stuff scheduled and knock it out and just be like, oh, it's done. You know, it's always that one thing you're trying to do. And it's like a little burden that's on the back of your mind, to the back of your shoulders. Like, oh, I finally got it done. It's like, you know, so I'm like, I'm so close. So I'm like, I'm just kind of
close but no cigar. I'm almost there too. I'm of course creating the new BeyondMystic Academy, like crazy hours on that. I'm trying to fix the back end also for Insider Access Pass members for it to run even faster and faster. So a lot of work there to be done still. And of course, we're dealing with this weird Mercury retrograde, and everything seems to be stalling and making it harder and harder on every little thing we're trying to do. But we're almost there out of the gate. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. We're going to have a live interactive show and have a lot of fun with you guys. Please share your comments and your questions as we go along, and we'll try to take as many as we can. But first, Penny, let's start with you. Last month you were here and we did our last update on your look-see. And folks, you can find that on her Patreon at patreon.com/Penny Kelly. We were talking about the last look-see. The overall theme was that, oh my God, nothing we were seeing was real. I have an inkling that perhaps things are going to get really real, really fast here very soon. So why don't you take the floor here and share with the audience your latest look-see. And I want to warn both of you, Joe and Penny, censorship machine is really on high drive right now, and again, on top of it, the Mercury retrograde is not helping. So please try to use some code words where appropriate, and I know the audience will understand why we're doing that. We're going to try to deliver as much news as we can without getting dinged for it. So go ahead, Penny. What's the latest look-see?
Well, I was trying to make it be more real, so I put most of what I saw. I didn't put everything that I saw because some of it was too discouraging, but it is about to get really real. And I am, you know, I found myself this morning, I had some dreams last night that were just, what is that about? And I think the basic message was, get ready, just get ready. And I had this feeling for this last week or 2 weeks that I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall. Like I'm waiting for a war, or I'm waiting for the world to fall apart, or I'm waiting for, so this morning I was like, why just go on, just keep going with what your normal everyday living requires. But there's this deep gut knowing that stuff is about to get really real here, really rough, pretty quickly. And I don't know if we're ready. I don't know if we'll ever be ready. So, so that's the feeling. I can say a couple other things about the look-see. I did a little more looking at the financial stuff. It just looked like the dollar just went into free fall. I wrote went into free fall, and yet nobody seemed to either understand or care what that was about. I don't know if we're past caring, or if we're not intelligent enough to understand what that means. If the dollar, goes, if we're not the world's reserve currency anymore. But everything fell. And so I wrote, everything financial suffers. Fiat money drops, almost disappears. Gold prices hover. And I watched this like, like something was pushing it up and something was pushing it down. And the same thing with silver. Silver prices hovered. Crypto prices went into the toilet. And they stayed there. They suffered a long, outrageous volatility. And I thought they got down to like 22,000. I was like, I didn't put that in the look-see because I thought, no, can't be.
You're talking about Bitcoin per se at 22K?
Okay. Yeah, that's my kind of my meter.
Right.
Bitcoin. That got down to 22, and I thought, oh wow. And then it went up and down, and it seemed like it went up and down for months, and then finally stabilized. Mortgage interest rates rise again and again. Loans of every sort cost more. Stocks suffer the same fate as crypto, and bonds begin slipping, which I thought bonds were not, that's not a good sign. So by the end of the summer, here was the big concern with all of that. People were so tired of things not working that they're ready to adopt anything new as long as it works and they don't have to think about it or worry about it anymore. And that's a pretty dangerous place to be. So, yeah.
Let me start here, Penny. You talked about this gut feeling that something's about to break somewhere. The dam's about to break. In Tower, we would be looking at the Tower card moment here too. Also,
Yeah.
I've been having that feeling. Also, I've been having the cold sweats at night, waking up in a strange panic. So I'm kind of, I don't know if it's me feeling what's going to be around me. I'm feeling the audience members. I'm feeling everybody else on the planet. Those who are attuned to these energies right now are feeling that, yeah, it's like there's a spook in the herd, so to speak. What do you think, Penny? What can you say in terms of advice maybe for the audience members who are struggling to understand perhaps how this energy is trying to communicate with them? Now, in your classes where you're talking about engaging in consciousness, you do teach a little bit more about the visuals, the visualization techniques and all that. But what can you say to the audience members here who are maybe new to feeling all of these energies and they're trying to figure out what that means for them specifically? Let's start there before we go a little bit too far, because I think that would be very helpful for the audience members here moving forward.
I think the best thing is, first of all, try to breathe. Breathe through those moments when you have those panics or cold sweats and those moments of, holy cow, something is coming or something's happening or whatever. Just try to get centered and breathe through. Stay open visually. Some people are visual. Some people are auditory. Some people are pure kinesthetic. They feel it. They can't point to anything. They don't see or hear, but they feel it. That's the hardest to handle, is when you feel it. And try to see or let what comes to you come to you. And once that does, don't poo-poo yourself. Ask yourself, okay, why did I see that? What would the message be? And if the message is prepare, or the message is you're going to be okay, or the message is you need to move, or, you know, whatever it is, try to honor that message at least a little bit. Don't go whole hog, because if you do go whole hog and it's only 1/3 of the message, then you're going to not pay attention to the rest of the message. So once you honor that just a touch, then the consciousness, the field of consciousness that's out there says, he's paying attention. She's listening. Let's give some more information. And then some more comes in and refinement begins to happen. So that's a start.
And clarity, you get more and more clarity. I love that. That's great. Joe, also, before you get into the specificities of your dreams, where you're seeing some of the price actions for the stuff, also talk to the audience about how you are dealing right now with the high pressure of feeling all of this energy, what it means and where we're going, and how you're using that in your dreamscape also to better navigate yourself. So, like, what can you share with the audience who are also struggling with all of this?
Yeah, so I'm not panicked about anything. I'm not like, you know, like what some people probably feel, that worry. I don't have any of that. Because I do have the dreams, and I do know, like, okay, you know, there's speed bumps, but well, if you want to keep going, you have to go through speed bumps. You don't just stop for the speed bumps. Matter of fact, someone's going to pull your car across whether you like it or not. So it's like, all right, let me prepare for the speed bumps at least. It's going to suck. And then, oh, we're over the speed bumps. Oh, wow, things are way better. So that's kind of how what I feel. But I mean, I don't know how long certain things may last, or, you know, down period or dollar problems, all that, you know, are going to last. But typically, I mean, it'd probably be safe to say you know, how everything just speeds up as technology increases, everything's faster, internet came about, shipping, everything, you know, Amazon, 2-day shipping, like whatever is going to happen, it's probably going to be relatively quickly, you know, just like, oh, the gas prices are crazy right now. They're crazy. Well, $8, $9, $10 is coming for the summer. Some people might even be seeing that as far as gallons go. You think it's just going to keep going? It can't. The whole world would shut down so, you know, completely that people would starve to death. I mean, and then all the governments would be overthrown by, you know, panicking anarchy people. So they're going to squeeze us, you know, and push us in the corner, like Penny mentioned earlier. And well, give me anything that works. Just make this, you know, let's go back to some kind of normal. And like she said, it's a dangerous place because, never let a crisis go to waste. Yeah, listen, we have this idea about one world, you know, digital currency.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But you know, we've got stuff with Durham. I just saw him walking into a court. They have a little video of him going into court. What's going to happen there? Of course, I think it's in D.C. If I recall, and you know, it's a swamp land of mostly Democrats over there. But who knows about that? But you know, just stuff is getting close. And you know, I've asked recently about, like, well, are we done in the crypto market, or are we, you know, we going down more? And it was like I got this dream, like.
Okay,
yeah.
hold on to that thought, Joe. Well, let's do this correctly here because I know a lot of people might fall off their chair here. So let me just back a little bit to what both of you are saying. I feel the same way. I'm not. I am having trouble with the energy surge, I have to admit, and I want to thank Richard Boo Dude, who was on last week too. He reminded me, JC, go outside and ground, like you're holding a lot of energy. And for a while here, of course, in winter, it's hard to get your feet in the grass. So I'm there now, and I'm trying to remember that myself, just to try to deal with these energies. Now, I don't feel myself panicked also, like many of the people watching the show. I've prepared, and I've been preparing for a long time. And I have a sense of peace that I know that I'm doing my part in all of this. So whatever is going to happen is going to happen. My guides are there. And I've been hard at work on it. But still, like everybody else, there are some moments in the day where I feel the energy. I'm like, whew, that's going to be a hell of a ride. Now, speaking of the panic, I just want to bring this in. When you're saying that all of this is starting to happen and these price dislocations are going to happen, whether that's the bond market, the dollar, cryptos, gold, silver, real estate, all of this stuff, we are expecting some governments to follow with this. This was in the old WebBot data for a long time, and it appears that right now we're getting close to that. And just an example here in Canada, they've canceled now Canada Day, celebrating Canada Day on Parliament Hill. It's like they're so afraid of anybody amassing there now since, the last couple of stories in the last couple of months, which we can't really get into tonight. But it just shows the level of panic already at the level of officialdom. So they're expecting something also to hit the fan. And when you see, it's like the bomb squad, when you see the chief bomb squad, it says on his t-shirt, if you see me running, follow me really quickly or run. So it's kind of like that. The politicians are running right now. You can feel their energy in the air. So there's a lot there. And I can see from the chat, a lot of you guys are also feeling this energy. So let's start here, Joe. When you and I were talking, I guess last month, we were looking at the month of May. We had talked about Cliff High's WebBot data, where he was talking about the convergence of convergencies for the month of May. So he was playing the word convergence and emergency in one. And it appears right now we're here. I was just showing a graph of the Fed chair, of course, our Superman here, dying on the table here. Nothing he does is helping, and everybody's saying, oh my God, do something. But really, they're stuck at a rock and a hard place. This is what you and I have been talking about for years, and everybody said, oh, you guys are conspiracy theorists. This will never happen, yet we're here now. So, Joe, you and I were looking at this, and we said, wow, the way things are going now, it appears that forecast of seeing huge retracements in crypto, gold, silver, the bond market, for a rebirth afterwards into more maybe sound money is upon us now. We've just dropped Bitcoin. We're at 28 or just $30,000 today, and we could go test some much lower lows here. Start with that here a little bit on cryptos. What are you seeing? I know you're talking about this more precisely for your audience members on your Patreon, but what can you share with the audience here on how to navigate this as best they can?
Yeah, so I just keep thinking of, what about the panic to own? What about the panic to own? And I'm thinking, as the dollar goes through that phase maybe of it's crashing, it's dumping, maybe people are realizing I've got to do something with these dollars before they're worthless, right? That's typically one of the thoughts people have. And then maybe like, I'll put in anything. What's the quickest, easiest thing? Well, digital stuff. You know, it'd be hard to go buy property all of a sudden while the thing's, you know, dumping. But you can quickly open an account and go boop, 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 buy some crypto or even some gold online and have it shipped to you. So maybe that would be the panic to own. You know, more, you know, the average person thinks when I hear the word panic to own, well, cryptos are probably going to run up, and everyone's chasing them up and it's a panic to get in. And I'm starting to wonder, what if they're down so low and then the dollar problems occur and everyone realizes I got to do something with my money, and they can see the writing on the wall, and that's what floods into the crypto market. And then it starts bumping up, you know, later or whatever, or after whatever. I'm not sure how it's going to look. We just know there's going to be a panic to own. That was so clear in Cliff's old data, and his old data has really come to fruition in recent times.
Yeah.
So there has to be something. But, you know, again, kind of like the gold and silver thing I'd mentioned, there people, and I see David Morgan, you know, I like David. He's on Twitter. And I'm like, I had this dream, like my dreams kind of come true, and like we're gonna have a problem at least first. And again, maybe they blow up the old financial system, all the derivatives, all the paper goes up in smoke, the prices crash, and then now everyone's, of course, cheap stuff, so let's buy it, and then they go up to God knows where, you know. And then maybe like these prices, like Boo Boo Dude saw with the stack of silver at 10,000, and then and then, you know, a roll of them, and then 20 or 30, and then 50 was his ultimate price. So that. You know, when's that? You know, so I've asked recently, like, okay, I got these numbers. Are we going to here? You know, and it's like, give me confirmation. I get this dream about the airport scene that was horrible, poop scene in the bathroom that was just nasty. And I go, they're showing me literally a shitstorm. That's this is not going to be good, guys. I go, but the plane was loaded with fuel by me and my wife. We filled it to the top before we went to the airport. So whatever's going to happen happens, and then we're done. We get back on the plane to go home. That plane is packed. Like, it's full of fuel. It's going to go high and far. And I go, oh, okay, but not first. Like, you're dealing with this first. And then I go to my daughter's boyfriend's grandma and grandpa's house for his birthday, her boyfriend's birthday. There's like a little party over there. And I thought, well, I'll just drop her off and go home. But she's like, well, no, bring Ian, and Ashley's going to come, our younger sister. And I'm like, you know what? I'll stay and hang out. You know, I'm not doing anything. I'll hang out with everybody. Right. I get in the house. The grandpa's talked to me right away, and another friend of ours, mom, and I just finished my bathroom. We just did a remodel, and I did most of it. You know, like, you want to come see it? And we're like, yeah, show us. And I go in there. I almost fell over. It was the bathroom scene, how it was laid out in my bad dream. And the bad dream was a toilet and a shower combined in the same area. I don't know anyone that has that. I've never seen it in real life. And I go in here, and this guy just did a remodel with that. And I'm like, oh, and they're like, what? I go, oh, I'm just going to have to explain some things to you about the dreams I get. This is incredible. So that's when I go, I got to go to Patreon. I got to tell guys, they just brought me there. It's about to go down. I'm telling you, it's about to go down. Right. And it did right shortly after, like days later, the big drop happened. So now we're at the prices we're at. And I'm looking at prices they gave me previously, like a few months ago. And I'm going, we got probably, honestly, about another 50% to go, I think. 40 to 50 on some coins,
and maybe more.
We
were just talking to Cliff a couple of days ago, and his target where we could test Bitcoin is much lower than half of where it's at now. Joe, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about Tether. You've been warning your audience members for years about this whole scam and how they're using it to manipulate the market. They've been making the news here in the last couple of days, and we could see perhaps now more truth behind the scenes as to what you were talking about way back when. But before I get into that, I wanted to share this idea of panic to own again. So let me just bring that up on the screen. Now, you and I had put this course together because we knew that at some point here, we would hit this panic to own temporal marker of Cliff High. And now we're starting to understand how that panic to own might happen. And I just wanted to take a moment to say to the audience members, if you haven't already set up your exchange, set up your wallet, now's probably the time, because when all this happens, we're already seeing people in the chat right now saying, oh, I'm trying to buy crypto, my bank doesn't let me, and all this. Imagine when the real panic to own sets in. If you don't have your exchange set up, if you don't have your wallets done, maybe now's the time to just maybe educate yourself, get ready for all of that as this is about to unfold. And of course, this is one option that is available to you in this 2.5 hour course. We teach you how to do all of that, set up your crypto exchange, your wallet, make your first transaction, and move those coins off the exchange. exchange. Again, that's a big thing. So talking about the frauds at the exchange, Joe, can you first recap, and I'll get Penny here to chime in also on how the Robes kind of forecasted this new money way back when she wrote that book, and saw the Robes back in the 80s. But for now, Joe, talk about Tether, what's happening in the news, and how that's probably forecasting here why also we're going to see this huge dump into crypto before we get a bull market again. Joe.
Right. Well, first of all, what are the two top sources? Mainstream news.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So the two top sources that they want everybody to see is investors withdraw over $7 billion from Tether, raising fresh fears about the stablecoin's backing.
Yeah.
Why? We've known this for years. Why is CNBC doing it now?
Mm-hmm.
Because Janet Yellen came out and said something. Gary Gensler of the SEC came out and said something. The Fed head, Powell, said something. And lo and behold, the UST dumped, which was Terra Luna's stablecoin, from $1 down to like 20 or 30 something cents, then 50, 80, back down to 30. Today it's down low again. I thought I saw it at 13 cents today, actually, if I recall. But it's being destroyed. It was an obviously attack, so they could all come out and go, oh yeah, see the stablecoin, but we need central bank stablecoins, not these jabroni stablecoins, because look what can happen. So in my opinion, it was a targeted attack, and now the New York Supreme Court, as you posted earlier, the White Dove retweet, said, oh yeah, they lost their they rejected Tether's petition to block the public from receiving documents detailing the composition of Tether's reserves over the past few years, because Tether
has no reserves.
So they said we have dollar for dollar. This is back 3-4 years ago. We got 2 billion Tether or so, out there, and we're like, you don't have no damn 2 billion Tether backed by $2 billion. We know this. Get an audit. Supposedly, like I do say allegedly, they did an audit, and the auditor said, well, they're not giving us what we want to see, so we can't audit. We're leaving. Oh, we'll get a second auditor. Same story. Again, this is what I heard back then.
Yeah.
Same story. We're leaving. No real audit. Okay. That was then. Well, the Southern District of New York, which is a deep state entity that always goes after Trump, did a little thing with Tether last year, like recently, but last year. And they said, oh, yeah, there was this time when this $500 million thing happened, and you didn't really have the backing, and they didn't have the money, so you bailed them out, but you didn't have the money to bail them out, but you said, you got to pay a few million, whatever, 50 million, or I don't know the fine, but pay a fine. And we're like, that is chump change nonsense. They're at $83 billion now, which she's talking about happened when they had, that was back in the $2 or $3 billion days. So it's like, and so then they came out and they go, well, this is a little while back, could have been a couple years ago. We are now backing our Tether with multiple assets. We have a little bit of dollar reserves. We have some other hard assets and just other assets. They wouldn't say what.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I think they're heavily invested into some of that real estate crap in China, that Evergrande.
Mm-hmm.
And someone put a case together where they go, here's my evidence. Now, I don't know if it was damaging or not, like damning enough, but nonetheless, I'm going, I could believe what I'm reading. Whether it's true or not, I could believe it. So, the emperor has no clothes, I think, is what's going to happen. The biggest trading pair on all of crypto, on all exchanges, everywhere in the world, is the pairs of whatever crypto to USDT, which is Tether.
Yeah.
So if Tether implodes, like UST did the other day, which was Terra Luna's, and those things become worthless, you're going to need a whole bunch more of those to buy the same Bitcoin at $20,000 even.
Right.
You want your $20,000, oh my God, buy Bitcoin, it's 20K, it dropped. And, well, no. You need 3 times that amount because it's 30 cents right now. What?
Right.
It would be destroyed. Like, the crypto market would just puke. So
it kind of explains how Cliff High was seeing all of these weird prices, and he couldn't understand how Bitcoin itself could be reduced to such a number. But then when you compare it to these pairs or the US dollar, in the case here of this huge hyperinflation event, now we kind of understand, and also maybe the creation of a new dollar and how that would bring about these crazy price fluctuations that were kind of hard to understand way back when these predictions were coming in. Penny, let me bring you in also here. Talk about how part of this was forecasted in the Robes and what you had not said to the public when you wrote that book, and how now all of this seems to be coming to a head right now.
Can I add one more thing before we let her talk? Just it's like
sure.
kind of. And I'm done.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you're not done.
There's someone I follow, and I'm thinking of what we talked about earlier. I don't even want to mention it, who or what, or
Okay.
They're pretty damn accurate with forecasting what's going to be coming. Like, pretty effing good.
Okay.
The goal is to hyperinflate the US dollar. This is a recent posting. The goal is to hyperinflate the US dollar and other fiat world currencies. They will eventually change the tune to saying, oh, the dollar, it's unfixable. We tried to fix it and we can't. The dollar is unsustainable. Slowly, they will start to introduce central bank digital currencies, which will eventually one day become a one world currency. Keep your eye on the sky, #Bluebeam, which is Project Bluebeam. So be ready for an interesting event in the sky, people, that may or may not be what you think.
Right. And that was also in the latest, well, in old Web Data reports, but also starting last fall, Cliff was saying that we would be talking about ETs in a big way.
He's been warning this same person. Second warning, he said not too long ago, get your money out of the banks. Get your cash out. Second warning.
Just as a quick note, again, and we'll give the floor here to Penny. Penny has a lot to say. I have a friend of mine who basically is a retail shop owner for high-end clothes. And what he's saying this year is like he doesn't understand. They're out of everything, but yet nobody has money. But he says, no, JC, you don't understand. All the rich people are doing everything they can to get out of the paper. They're buying high-end watches, high-end blazers, jackets, dresses for their wives, whatever it is. They're not even interested in the regular mid-level stuff. It's all the high-end stuff completely flying off the shelves right now. So again,
now I've got to add something to what you just said.
Okay.
Sorry, Penny.
No, go ahead.
Not the Penny show, I guess, tonight. Jeez, but I'm going, I got to add this now. So you know who my Ruru friend is, the female. She just came down to visit for like 3 days.
Cool.
And she got some downloads to share. And I didn't even post this because it was like, it's for her. But she goes, Joe, this sounds crazy. This is going to sound crazy to you. She goes, but they keep telling me. She goes, like, buy these high-end, expensive designer freaking purses and bags. They keep telling me this. Okay. And she's like, why would I want to do that right now or into the future? And they're showing her those who have the money will put their money into the stuff, like the art pictures and the whatever. Yeah. They're going to want their designer bags. The rich women out there will want the designer bags to sit on. And then when everything settles down or whatever, I've got this as an asset and I'll either keep it or unload it or whatever. Right. And she's like, I've already done this a couple of times. And she goes, I had one that I was sitting on for a while. She goes, you wouldn't believe what I sold it for and what I paid for it. It was incredible. And this was like going back a while ago. So anyways, just what you said. They're buying stuff that they feel will hold some kind of value, some kind of asset. So, I mean, designer bags, for God's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Okay, folks, it's the Penny show time. Okay, sorry, Penny. Put in there.
I could listen to you guys all night. So let me say a couple of things, and then I had a dream. When you guys were talking, Joe, you said something that triggered a dream that I had. It was about veritasium, and this is like a week ago. So anyway, back in the day with the robes, one of the things that they spent a little bit of time on was letting me know that we were not going to have money the way that we knew it. Mm-hmm. And that it was, and at the time, this was 1980, we didn't really have a lot of personal computers. We didn't have the internet the way we have it today, all that kind of stuff. And so I remember being in this room and looking at what I thought was a TV, and there was just a whole bunch of numbers scrolling by. I remember the background was green and the numbers were white. And I remember thinking, what the heck kind of money is that? It's just on television. That's not going to work. And they said, no, you will have, it'll be money that is abstract. They never called it digital. They didn't use that word. But a couple of times they said that what you will learn through this process is what has real value. And I think we're coming into that right now. And Joe, you guys, both of you, talking about high-end clothes, high-end bags, shoes, coats. Those things have value in a world where you can't get anything. And that's the other piece that I saw with the robes that scares me. It really does scare me. It was that everything had fallen apart. in terms of the institutions, if I can say it that way. And then there was this, I don't know, this period where everybody went berserk, I guess I would call it that. Just angry, tearing things apart, just upset, and, you know, carrying on and on and on until there was nothing left. And a lot of people were hurt or gone. And that, at the end of that period, we still had computers. Not very many, but people did have computers. And we had most of the activity that was happening was over in India and Africa and Middle Europe, and they were busy rebuilding like crazy. We were just lost. And I was thinking about this today. Right now, they're hungry. And I don't mean hungry in terms of they need food. Maybe they do need food, but the hunger is a different kind of hunger. They're hungry for electricity and, you know, some kind of cell phone service or internet or water or, you know, things like that for automation, for technology, for machinery, for houses that are warm in the winter and cool in the summer. They're hungry for those kinds of things. And they just roll right on by us over this next few years. We've gotten fat and lazy in the Americas. And that is a big disservice. We end up going back to some pretty basic stuff. And that really, it's at that point that the crypto, that the money online really becomes important, because nobody's manufacturing much of anything. Everybody's pretty much making what they need, or in relationship with somebody who's making what they need, or trading purses and coats and mittens and shoes and blankets and things like that they don't need anymore. And so there isn't a huge need for money. I mean, there's a need for goods. And so what happens after that is that this digital money becomes very, very normal. It's the normal. People look back and say, wow, you used to carry all that stuff around. How did you do that? Why did you bother with that? And so that's coming. I think another trend. Well, let me not go there. Let me go to the dream. So the other night I had a dream, and I can't remember all the details of it now, but in the dream, everything kind of went up in smoke, or there was this haze, you know, trying to get through this haze and see clearly. Nobody could see or understand what was really happening. But at the end of the dream, there was this system that just suddenly appeared. And it was a system that allowed us to use crypto in trade. And I remember somebody saying, where did this come from? Because everything else was destroyed. And somebody said, Veritasium. And I woke up and I thought, I don't know enough about Veritasium. I don't know what it does. But I forgot about that until you just said something. So what is, I don't even know what it is.
I think, okay, so the big thing that Cliff High's Webbot, I think, was picking up on when it came to Veritasium, he said, look, I see some data here that I'm interpreting as, you know, whether they poo-pooed Reggie with the SEC lawsuit and all that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm seeing a time in the future where governments go to Reggie, we need your system, please help us.
Hat in hand was in the Webbot Data project where it came back to say, hey,
for our exchanges.
Yeah.
So something with Veritasium in exchanges, whether that's crypto exchanges, stock and whatever exchanges, something. He didn't get to that detail with in his Webbot report. He just said like exchanges.
And Joe, when we saw the patent being awarded to Reggie in the fall or just before the new year, I did ask Cliff about, hey, is this what was in the Web of Data reports? And he said, no, that's just a precursor. And he said they will eventually reach out to him hat in hand to try to fix these systems, but everything needs to break first. And he was pegging that back in December of last year when he told me this, somewhere May, June, July. So we're almost in that time frame now where all the wheels come off, and at some point, some responsible
Or
humans.
it could be next year, for all we know. To be fair, we just
Yeah. But he said it wouldn't start at least before that. Is what his point was. Penny, keep going with the dream.
That was it. That was it. You know, it was like the only thing I really remembered at the end was that whatever that system was that allowed us to trade it came from Veritasium, and I don't know enough about Veritasium to even say anymore. But that whole thing, there's a huge trend that I've been watching unfold for a long time, and I didn't think it was going to go to the degree that it's going. But if I can maybe describe it, back in the day when Marin Kesh first came up with MagGrav, his MagGrav units, magnetic gravity. He called it MagGrav, M-A-G-R-A-V units. It was, what he said was, this unit, and he set it on the floor, is going to power your house. And you will be able to, when you sell your house, you take your electrical system with you. And at the time I thought, whoa, that's really something. So one of the things I saw back with the robes was that they framed our lifestyle as beginning to pick up and follow the American Indian way. And so at the time I thought, are we going to be living in teepees? You know, what does that mean? Over the years, what that came to mean for me is that we weren't living in teepees. What we had accomplished was this move away from being stuck in one spot on the land, day in and day out, year in and year out, exhausting that land and never letting it recover. The Indians had a very fluid lifestyle. They moved around. They tried to balance their hunting and their growing and their, herb gathering and all the other stuff they did. So that was the first thing. It was like an electrical unit that you take with you. You take your own electric system. Holy cow. So then the next thing I noticed is that a lot of people are buying, what do you call it? Fifth wheels, campers, trailers, tiny homes on wheels. And I'm watching that thinking, wow. There's a lot of people that are going to do a lot of camping. But then what's that?
I got an RV dream about like people on the streets in RVs, like on the sides.
Yeah. So then it began to be clear that that was the first inkling or wave of the very mobile lifestyle that we would be moving toward. And then I want to mention a video. If you guys haven't seen it, I forget the name, but I think it's called Billions for Change.
Billions in Change.
Billions in Change. Okay.
Good documentary.
Oh my God, it's only 20 minutes. Go and watch it. You will see now there's solar, so there's lights and power for it's a little portable unit. It's not quite as big as a backpack even, I don't think, but it provides you with light and it charges with the sun, and you can open up this like a portable briefcase, open up these 3 solar panels, put it up face toward the sun, and it charges your cell phone, your electric, your television, your computer, something else for 24 hours. And it's very portable. And then there's water, portable water cleaning systems. We need that pretty badly.
Oh, and the med bed. Remember his med bed?
Oh, Oh, well, you know what?
in that
Okay.
documentary.
Okay. No, I didn't see the med bed in there.
He went and found like one of two that were ever made, and one was left, and he paid a lot of money to get it, and it would squeeze like your thighs and things at night, and it would
You're
sync with
talking
your
about the
heartbeat.
first one.
Oh, is there a second
Billions and Change 1. I'm talking about Billions and Change 2.
Oh, I didn't know there was a 2.
There's a 2 out now. Oh my God.
Wow. I gotta see
And
that.
so when you see that, when you see that, when you watch that, what you see is for pennies, he is able to supply light and power and water and fertilizer. And fertilizer, when you make compost, I don't know how many of you ever made compost, but it takes a long time. Some compost systems take a year. He can have finished, powerful compost in 18 days. That's unheard of.
Wow.
And he's got a system that he's running around teaching. And I think he says just go to billionsandchange.com and he'll send you.
The owner of the energy drink company?
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't pronounce his last name. I didn't hear it clearly enough to repronounce it.
Wow.
But there's all the pieces that make. So let me say something now. So Klaus Schwab, Mr. Schwabi there, has said you're going to own nothing and you're going to be happy. And I think what that's going to really come down to is we're going to own a whole bunch of other things that completely undo the old institutions, the old power structures, the old financial, the old water, the old heat, the old electricity, the old oil. All of that is, I think that's going to be toast within the next 25 years once people see this technology that is portable. He said the magic of solar was making it portable. You just take it with you wherever you go. Same thing with Kesha's Magrav unit. The same thing with the water. You know, the little filtering system, and you've got absolutely stunningly clear drinkable water, and you start with sewage. You can start with brackish water as well. So all of that is pointing to us becoming, I'm beginning to see the Robes comment that we would not need money the way that we needed it. We wouldn't be carrying hardly anything. We would adopt the Indian lifestyle in our fifth wheels or whatever. And that really is a whole lifestyle and a whole system of getting needs met that reduces the waste, reduces the cost, reduces the power that those other systems have over us, and we stop gathering around big plants that provide these things for us, where they can then say, aha, you want to live there? Here's your taxes. You owe us this and this and that and that. And so it even pulls the rug out from under the taxation system. So I think we're going in a direction that is very much in alignment with what the Robe said at all the levels.
You know what's interesting there too? We just did this investigation on earth changes and real estate, and here we touched the theme that was in the Webbot project called the diaspora, the big movement of peoples around the earth. And as we were looking at it, I was asking the questions from the financial point of view, from the breakdown of institutional point of view and all that. And as we were doing these questions, it kept coming up, oh, there's something about technology making people move around. So now it's making sense here. If we're holding the technology with us, we're not tied to the house, to the power structure, to all of the power distribution system of the old. So that's very fascinating. Now, let's go back to this also. This idea of temporarily, you and I have talked about the fact that all of us are cautiously optimistic. So too is Cliff High. Somebody just posted a comment. The $600 silver. Remember, Cliff at some point said, "Oh, you might not like a world at $600 silver." He since revised that because he said that no, if we get to the $600 silver, we're on the right timeline. That means that we're taking this bug off our back and we're creating the world that we want, which is the catapult into the sci-fi world, which is exactly what you're talking about now. But in the meantime, there's a little bit more of this. And I found it funny that this was in mainstream news again, talking about how more and more people now are rejecting the dollar and other official transaction tools to do exactly this, barter with their neighbors and friends, and completely removing the middleman. So we're seeing that as perhaps an offshoot or a consequence of this hyperinflation right now. Talk about how us as humans coming together also, Penny, is very important to go through this particular transition period from where we are now to that sci-fi world we're going to eventually get into, where we don't really need money. Talk about that.
And we don't really need a lot of the stuff that we've accumulated. We actually simplify a little bit without losing, I'm going to say something paradoxical, without losing the complexity of the concepts and the underlying technology that keeps us going. So, and some of that is we simplify the junk, but we add to the complexity of our understanding, because there's an ET component in there. But in the between, okay, for example, here in Michigan, over in the Detroit area, and I do think it's either Southfield or Lincoln Park or something like that, there was a woman who got, I don't know if she was cleaning her closet or her basement or something, but she ended up setting up a bunch of stuff in her yard and said, you know, anybody want this stuff? And people came, and long story short, it has grown over the years. It's a huge, it's almost a barter fest. It's not, there's no money involved. People bring their stuff. They look around to see if there's anything they need. And they just, you know, if this is out there for take it, it's free, you take it. You know, and you have your own stuff that you're trying to get rid of, and people are trading stuff. And I forget how many thousands of people were gathering at that bartering thing. And I thought, that's really cool. That's in a major city. It's in, you know, a really good neighborhood. It's something that gets the basement clean, cleans the garage, cleans the closets, etc. And it's of service to other people. And I think that's one of the ways that we move toward that whole barter thing. And that is actually one of the things I saw in the last look-see, looking at the attempt to pull the rug out from under us by collapsing the food supply, ends up backfiring. People end up coming out to take care of one another all over the place. Do you have this? Do you need that? I have some extra this. And there's what comes out of that is this whole bunch of new relationships. And that really, we need that to balance some of the other stuff that's coming in the fall that maybe we don't want to talk about, you know, that has to do with more medical troubles. But that whole process of trading back and forth, we're doing that. Meanwhile, people over in other parts of the world who are just discovering, man, we got electricity, we got lights, we can work after dark, we've got water, we're not sick and tired, we're growing food, we have extra food. They're just going to sail ahead, and we're going to retool big time. And some of that is going to involve more and more in, let's say, input from ETs, and more acknowledgement of the technology. Some of the old scientists that just don't get the new physics at all, they keep trying to fit it into the old box, and it doesn't fit. And so that, what I see is that's coming up, and over just in the next 5 years, that's going to take off. It's going to be astounding. So
Yeah. That's really interesting. And also, like we just talked about barter now, we talked about humans getting together. In the
Yep.
news right now, a lot of people are talking against the Fed, saying, hey, they've lost the ability here to get a soft landing. Of course, this plane's
that's
upside
true.
down. It's not going to land very softly. And of course, everybody's screaming at the Fed, come on, just do something already. And we'll get into the capitulation here, maybe in Europe. That's kind of funny also. But yeah, the Fed is pretty much impotent at where we stand now.
Yeah.
And what's also, and I wanted to ask you this also, Penny, you've been talking about the fact that at some point during this transition, there is some difficult pockets where some of the systems just don't work. So if you're relying on your PayPal, you're relying on your debit card, you're relying on all of these things, some of these, you might see dislocations for periods of times here moving forward. And it appears that we're almost there. Here in the last 2 months, just here on our pay-per-view, I keep getting emails from people, I keep trying to buy a pay-per-view, I can't get it. PayPal doesn't seem to recognize me anymore. It used to work, now it's not working. And there's a lot of frustration with that. And we had forecasted that's going to get worse before it gets better. We're seeing all of this dislocation at the Swiss level system. I just pointed to Putin there and what's happening in Europe. And of course, the de facto go back standard here with the ruble. So that is also going to create more havoc in those old transfer payment systems. So talk about what you see going on here and how people maybe can use this time to get the things that they need to get that locked and secured out of the way before they have issues, even more issues than we're having now with our payment processing systems. Penny.
Yeah, that's really, really important. I actually have a list that years ago, way back in the beginning of Kundalini, when I was struggling, I kept getting this message, buy a year's worth of food in a wood-burning stove. And I'm like, I don't have enough cupboards. Where am I going to put all that? And I don't have enough money. And I already have a wood-burning stove, but it's not, it was a pretty stove. And it wasn't really wood-burning. It just was elected. And so long story short, I ended up making a list, doing a survey. What do I use over the course of a year? So, anybody who's interested in prepping for the next year, start your list. I've actually considered getting that list out of my filing cabinet and putting it out there and saying, okay, if you're in the North, here's what you might consider having on hand for a family of 4 over the next 12 months. Mm-hmm. And that really gets you thinking along those lines and kind of looking ahead, thinking ahead, etc. And that, I think, is a step. And then once you get some of that stuff, you got to figure out a way of storing it. And then you got to figure out a way of rotating your stock, so to speak. And then you may have to figure out new ways of cooking. And all of that takes time. And then on top of that, if the money system isn't working, you need to know some neighbors and you need to trust your neighbors. Mm-hmm. And that's really important. And you can't wait. One of the things I saw, I'm going to say 40 years ago, was this period of what you guys were talking about, the panic to own. Mm-hmm. People were trying to set up this new money and they could not figure it out. And so there was a lot of money lost. And there was an attempt to get people to put money into all sorts of cryptos that then, that money then they didn't succeed. Those cryptos either failed or they did something wrong in the transaction and the money disappeared and the crypto never was credited and it was a mess.
Or they forgot to save their password on their wallet, and then they call Joe, I forgot my password, and we're like, dude, you should have you should have taken the course and made sure you did this.
Doing that now, where Joe, I just lost $500 or whatever. Is my stuff gone for good? Yep. It's pretty much gone.
Again, guys, that's why we're saying education is absolutely important. While we're there, we're talking about the things we need. You have to think about the people that help you go through this stuff, your subscriptions also. And again, here I'm going to plug our friends here. You can find Joe, of course, at patreon.com/JSNIP4. And maybe now is the time to renew. If you have a subscription there, or you have a monthly pass, or you were thinking of buying another pass, maybe now's the time. Again, before we get into all of these financial problems and these dislocations in the payment system, give it a try. There's a couple of packages there, and I'll ask Joe to explain that in a second. Of course, Penny, a lot of her wisdom can also be found here on on Penny Kelly here at patreon.com. And they're also, you're supporting the people who have been trying to help you here prepare for what's to come now. And I also wanted to let you guys know, I've just added now for all the Insider Access Pass members who started last year, who supported me when I got deleted off of Patreon for doing this work, of course. A big thank you to all of you and for your continued support. The renewals are now available. So you guys have all received, the Insider Access Pass members have all received an email today with a special loyalty program coupon code. Again, to thank you for all of your support and helping me continue to do this work here for all of you. So if you haven't seen that email, it could be in your spam. If you log into your Insider Access Pass today to get to the main library, you will also see that coupon code for you to renew. And if you're not due to renew just now and it's in a month or 2 months from now, please consider doing it now, of course, here with the incentive of the coupon code, and also in the idea of maybe having some issues here with payment processors here moving forward. Joe, while we're talking about you and a lot of people reaching out here who perhaps started the wrong way or in a too panic mode and didn't save their passwords or do it correctly, what do you have for the audience members here? We're at 55 minutes in. What do you have for them here at patreon.com/JSNIP4, and how can you help them navigate here a little bit more this new world of digital currencies we're moving into?
A whole new world. Yeah, be a little rough at first, but yeah, my middle thing there, the one on the left. Every now and then, someone signs up. It's $5, and I go, it's just what it is. Just throw me a bone. People want to just donate to me, and they email me, and I'm like, well, let me just put something up because they just want to send me something, but I don't do anything there. There's nothing there. There's no information there. But the middle one, JSNIP4 Crypto Woo Woo, that's the main one. It's $20 a month, US dollars. I post everything there. Then there's the $40 a month JSNIP Elite, where people, like I said, Joe, did I just lose my coins? I don't know. Let me look at it. Send me the transaction ID. Let me look at this for you. Yeah, they're gone. Or no, actually, they're recoverable. Here's how you do it. Yep. Or similar questions or whatever. People who need a little bit of hand holding, but not too crazy, obviously, because I can't sit there for an hour or half hour even sitting there talking to you or anything else. I just usually reply by message. Hey, here's how you do it.
Right.
Okay. That sort of thing. But even that plan gets the $20 stuff too, so those two plans will get all the information. But yeah, and that's the thing, it's like every now and then someone will be like, oh, you're not really posting that much, I don't know if it's worth this $20. And I'm going, hey, listen, I love you, but I'm not going to post to post.
Right.
When Spirit gives me that download or woo do calls or something, I'll tell your people this, I just got this, I'm posting. And a lot of times it is extremely useful information. But it's not one of these things where, hey, you haven't posted this thing in a week. What's the update? Like, well, just wait. The crypto market hasn't done anything. It's, just wait. And then all of a sudden I get this huge dream. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's about to dump. Do this, do this, do this. I'm selling this. I'm getting into this. But we're already down. I go, I know, but don't worry. It's going to go way down. So we sell anyways. And then it jumps even harder. I go, see, so.
In that spirit of getting things you need now, while the money can actually still purchase something, and $20 is not a lot when you consider the Starbucks coffee is now $5 or $6, and so that's really affordable. So I can roll the event there, of course, and you can find a lot of free content also from Joe here. You can find him on JSNIP4 too. This is the second channel here, having been deleted and demonetized from YouTube for doing this work. So please do go and support him here.
I'll add a little throw out for a crypto tip if
okay. Well, hold on. We'll keep that to the end because a lot of people are asking you about XRP. So we'll end on XRP and your little tip. Okay. So guys, please do go and subscribe here at JSNIP4 too. And in the meantime, also now you can support Penny Kelly here also on her YouTube. Talk about the tea and consciousness here. What can they find there, and how can that help them also go through these difficult times? Penny.
Okay. We do a tea and consciousness on Mondays. Usually 7 to 9 p.m. On the second Monday of each month, we do 2 of them, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. The evening one is for newbies because it's hard to get in. We have a huge backlog. Oh my God. But that we get on, we answer questions. I answer questions. People can have 5 minutes to ask a question about their health, about, their work, about their life, about relationships, whatever, all sorts of things. Their spiritual development, they had this dream or that experience or whatever. So that happens. And then I have a whole bunch of, on the Alpha channel, which is, I think it's only $9 a month. That
well, these are in Canadian prices, but yes.
In US dollars, it's 9. Yeah. And that that's the written version of what's on High Beta. Well, High Beta is mostly all videos, and we record the Tea and Consciousness. There's a lot of information in that Tea and Consciousness. And then there's some of my interviews, and then Daphne and I talk, and she digs this information out of me. And then the Gamma, that is, that's for people who just want to give more. But then once a month, we do a live stream just for Patreon people. So that's, you know, we're trying to expand consciousness and help people keep their chin up during this time and see it as a time of great opportunity for evolving consciousness and getting out of the stuck lifestyle. If you feel like you're stuck, this is going to be a really good time to get out of that. So, yeah, come on over, join us. And it's all on YouTube and Odyssey also.
Right. And so here on YouTube, you can find, where did you go? I had it earlier. Hold on a second. I had you somewhere. Penny Kelly, what happened?
Yeah.
It's a Mercury retrograde, Penny. Yeah. There you go, Penny Kelly. You can find her here on YouTube. This is what it looks like. Please do go and subscribe there. And she puts the snippets also of the Luxies and some of the Tea and Consciousnesses there as well. So if you want to have a little bit of a try before you buy on Patreon, here's a good way to do that. Joe, I'll get to the crypto XRP here and your tip for the audience members in just a sec. There was a comment here. I kind of want to address it. Leslie Poe, she said, JC, why are you making people afraid and scared? Man, this show is about empowerment. It's not about making people scared or afraid. Prepared, yes, of course, we're going through some difficult times, but we all agree here, if you haven't heard us, maybe rewind the tape. We're all going to a much better place. Yeah. We're very optimistic of where humans are going here. The sky's the limit for us, but we need to come together as humans here to go through some of these hard patches. Speaking about that makes us more responsible and more adaptable to helping each other go through that together. That's what this consciousness experiment is all about. Leslie, I hope that helps. And again, if that sounds like fear and programming, please listen to that again. We're really optimistic about this, but we're really hoping that we can all pull through together in that same direction where we become sovereign masters of ourselves. And for some people, that change can be scary, but it's a good thing on the long run. And that's why we're all here incarnated at this time. Joe, let's talk about XRP quickly. A lot of people are asking you for an update on XRP, and also you can add in your tidbit. And at the end, I will ask Penny for her words of wisdom in terms of staying away from fear and moving and walking towards power. So that'll be the last note from Penny. Joe, XRP.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So XRP, you know, I got, and the funny thing was, I've never made a mistake in my life of doing Patreon where I know this is Patreon only. I'm doing a video. It's unlisted. It's for them. You know, no one can see it. And this one and only time I've ever done that, essentially, was when I got this price of Ethereum at $408.20 XRP, or 21 cents, which then turned to 20 cents as I was trying to buy it. And I go, you know, for my Patreons, blah, blah, blah. And even the title. And I go back a couple hours later. I'm like, man, that damn thing has a lot of views. I'm like, oh, shit, it's public. Oh, man. I go back to Patreon. Oh, my God, guys, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be for you. I'm sorry. But I go, man, that spirit wanted me to say it apparently to everybody. They need this information. I said, you know, hey, I'm sorry about that. So they were like, don't worry about it. It's all good. So, you know, I got that price. So the other day, the shitstorm dream I mentioned in the bathroom, I see the bathroom in real life. I'm going, someone actually made a bathroom like this with a toilet and a shower together, like in the same thing?
Yeah.
And, it's getting ready. It's going to dump, man. And I go, okay, we got a 20-cent XRP's coming. It's got to be. And sure enough, I tell everybody that I'm selling some. I'm like, don't sell your whole bag, you know, because this is just my dream. I don't know if I want to trust it that much, but sell some, you know. So I said, I just did. I'm just telling you what I do like I always do. So people were like, but the market's still down, you know, and my portfolio's down. I go, if we go to the prices that I saw, and this is back when it was higher, way higher than it was today or recent times, I'm going, that 10% off your bag at the time I first told you this, which was fairly recently, can double your bag, your whole bag, with that money if these prices come, because these are really bad prices. But don't think in terms of prices, think in terms of how much crypto you'll have. So when they start to go back, oh man, I got a lot more money. So all right. So we sold, and boom, market dumps. So I have orders certainly close to 20 cents, but I'm not going to try to catch the bottom either. You know, like at 20. I don't have any orders at 20 because that's just right what I saw. I don't want to chance it. Now, having said that, it could go to 18, 19. You know, I don't know, but my order is a little higher than that. So that's where that one stands. That's XRP, and we saw it dump down to 33 or 34 cents. By the way, at the absolute low when the wicks of all the cryptos went way down, just split second, and then came back up. Now it's around 40, 43, something like that. So I still think it's coming. So Luna, people are like, what about Luna? This thing was $100 something, and you know, before the crash it was 80 something, and then it's 2 cents.
No.
Is it over, or should we get into this? I mean, you could buy a crap ton for, you know. And of course, it went down to another zero. There's 3 zeros now after the decimal point. So it's like 0.00018 or 19 or 2. So it's like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It may be the end of this. It may be the end for Luna. So I basically asked Spirit, I go, you know, is it the end for Luna? Or like, should we invest in this now that it's way the hell down? You know, 3 zeros in front of this thing. And they essentially give me a dream. I don't have to go into details. The dream was not a dream. I asked for a dream. I woke up in the middle of the night, had a couple other dreams were not related, went back to bed. Spirit, can you if you gave it to me, I'm sorry, I forgot it. But I don't think you gave it. Can you just tell me again about the Luna? I want to be able to tell my Patreon members something about this because a lot of people want to know. And I wake up again, regular morning time now, and I'm going instantly, Luna, Luna, Luna. As I wake up, Luna, 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 Luna. And then I hear the song from Katy Perry and somebody else she did it with. When I'm gone, I'm never really gone, is the one of the key words of the song that she repeats a lot in the song. When I'm gone, I'm never really gone. I'm something, 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 something moving on. So, but it was just the first part. When I'm gone, I'm never really gone. Oh, everyone's saying you're gone. Everyone's saying it's the end. It's over for Luna. When I'm gone, I'm not really gone. So I go, okay, so this thing will probably recover to some extent.
Okay.
I don't know what the extent is. I've got no prices, but I'm telling them in Patreon, like, guys, you see what it's at? There's 3 zeros right now. And I go, by the way, me and Woo from we think this thing's going lower. Again, the rest of the market has to hit those numbers. So if you see the price today and we need another 50% drop for XRP to hit its price, then just kind of roughly say all these coins I want to buy back, where are they at right now? What's 50% of that? And maybe get ready to purchase at that. But again, we could go even lower than that. You know, but I'm being shown to get this. And my one dream that gave me the price of XRP of 20 cents, I didn't care about anything else but buying XRP in that dream. I didn't want anything else. I didn't think about anything else. I was panicking, literally panicking to own in my own dream, panicking to own XRP only. So I'm going, okay, there's something to that. This is the coin, is what the main picture is. But your other coins, doesn't mean they're going to go to nothing. So I tell everybody, when this thing runs up this next time, it might be time to pull the trigger on a whole bunch of stuff.
Be ready.
And maybe not XRP, but maybe. Because again, if it rockets up like crazy with the rest of them, well, then sell some of that too.
The trick is to be ready, of course, so that you're not panicking when you need to make these decisions. Don Bailey, she says, I watched Panic to Own twice. That Joe and JC made. They're very good, but I'm still too scared to even try setting it up. Okay, baby steps. Try with $5, like we say in the show. Try with $10. Make that first transaction.
You don't have to do the other exchanges and Mandela and all that. Just go on Coinbase or use the phone app even. It's quite simple on the phone app.
Yeah.
Just do a quick $10 purchase. You know, I got these coins.
Baby steps, and with each baby steps, you will garner even more confidence as you move forward, and you'll see it's not that hard. There is a learning curve, but everybody can do it. So thank you for that. Of course, you can try the course here, the Beyond Crypto Panic to Own course, still available on our pay-per-view. And if you're already in and you want to help maybe navigating all of this too, as it pertains also to your personal astrology, please check out Astro Woo Finance. This is the forecast for the month of May for each of the zodiac signs. It's a personal reading here with Julie and Janine. A very cool show. This is a new product on our Insider Access Pass membership, as well as this Beyond Crypto Woo, where we get into each specific coin here and also gold and silver forecasting for the month. So please do go and check that out if you can. Levita is saying, what's the passcode for the 30% off the Insider Access Pass renewal? Well, that's in your email. And so if you're an Insider Access Pass member, check your email and also just log into the Insider Access member. It's pinned to the top there with the Discord channel, so you guys can have access to that. And again, a big thank you to all of you that are supporting us there. You guys make it possible for me to be out here doing all of these shows for you guys. So that is, yes, the membership renewal now in effect on the BeyondMystic.net website. Penny, I said we'd end with you, words of wisdoms in terms of walking away from fear and moving into power. What can you share with us before we go?
I think probably, I'd make a little comment that follows on to what Leslie said. There's no reason to be scared, and I didn't hear any scaremongering out of Joe. And look at his name, the realist. So that's what I tell people is, look, don't get caught in all that illusion stuff that everything is always going to be great tomorrow because it was great yesterday. That isn't the way the world works. Be real. In other words, be ready, be real, and then relax and enjoy. You cannot manage anything if you're all tangled up in a knot. So the world is probably going to be a little bit tougher over this next few months. And we want to move toward that new world. I do anyways. And so I'm like, okay, already, come on, let's get this over with. Let's move on. And I think reading, listening to people, trying to get a good night's sleep, taking good care of your physical self, get some exercise to run off some of that panic, and, eat good food. And then watch what's happening around you. You will learn a lot.
Well, very good. That's great advice. And I was looking for Leslie because she did respond after that and says, yes, I agree with you, JC. So I think we're all on the same track. But yes, sometimes even ourselves, we get triggered. We listen to other stuff sometimes and we think, and then we sit back, we look at the bigger picture. We understand our role here, our collective role, and also our individual here and how we chose to be here for this particular soul contract mission. And then suddenly things are not as scary as they might seem. But still, yes, we have some challenging times. And this is why this community is very important. So big thank you to all of you guys supporting us. Again, a big thank you to everyone supporting us. I really appreciate each and every one of you. This was, of course, A Break in the Clouds with Penny Kelly and JSNIP4. You can find Penny and also subscribe to our newsletter here at pennykelly.com. And you can find her on YouTube here as well. And finally, you can find our friend Joe somewhere here as well. JSNIP4. There you go. There you go. There you go. Man, it's a Mercury retrograde. I'm having more and more trouble doing these live shows with you guys. I love you guys. Have a great day. And we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Okay.